Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Shay. I make content about horror movies, horror TV shows, horror video games, and theme parks because I live in Central Florida and I feel like it would be a crime not to. If you're not new here, thank you so much for joining me again on this journey. Now this is not the video I had planned for this week at all. I actually had a completely different video planned, but I haven't finished working on it yet. Well, I haven't finished watching the series, so I can work on that. Anyways, I like, first of all, I needed a little bit of a breather after the mouthwashing video, just to like give you guys an idea how long it took me. That video was supposed to be out in January. It was supposed to be out in January, but a lot of stuff happened. I was sick for like a good portion of February, health issues. There was also some crazy stuff that happened in my apartment complex. So like, it's just been like a crazy time. So finally I was able to sit down and work on that video, and it took me 2 weeks to finish editing it and getting it out there. Not that I'm complaining, I'm just saying, like, it took me a while to get everything situated and ready for, it to be put out. And I hope that you guys have enjoyed it. If you haven't checked it out, go check it out. I worked really hard on it and I'm very proud of it. I'm not proud of the gaming video because my footage was very laggy and I missed a lot of parts of the game, but I am proud of my review video of it. It's long, it's 2 hours long. I know, I yap too much, but it's still enjoyable and I think you guys would like it. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out. If you want to play the game first, go check that out. But in any case, let's get into what we're talking about today. So I have not really thought about Halloween Horror Nights or talked about Halloween Horror Nights. As I said, last month was just like a blur to me. I don't even remember the month of February, to be quite honest. It was a complete blur to me. I was sick, like I said, most of the time, and I'm still like recovering from some other stuff that I've been taking care of in my life. It's just been a lot. So I completely forgot that Halloween Horror Nights was like even a thing, which is crazy because usually like by this time this year, during the year, I'm like, all right, where's the announcements? But it wasn't until like yesterday, maybe 2 days ago, I was on YouTube and I started seeing speculation videos popping up, and I'm like, that's right, I've got to talk about Halloween Horror Nights. So if you're not familiar with this event, this is the first time you're ever hearing about it, Halloween Horror Nights is an event that Universal Studios puts on at their parks in Orlando, Hollywood, Singapore, and Japan. It is a haunt event. They have haunted houses, scare zones, shows, themed food, and themed merchandise. And Orlando is the one I always go to because, like I said, Central Florida. And I absolutely love the event. I've been going since 2013 with no breaks except for 2020, but we don't count that year because they didn't have the event that year. So yeah, it's been like really cool like covering this event, seeing this event. And speculation season is always my favorite time of year. Speculation season's always fun because it's always fun to see what people think is gonna come to Halloween Horror Nights in 2025 or whatever. And this is mostly the IPs. So I was gathering some intel, watching a couple of videos, reading some posts on Reddit, and I decided I was gonna make a video kind of talking about the most speculated IPs that we might be getting in 2025, and like saying how likely I think we are gonna get these houses. So yeah, I definitely want to talk about that. Before we get into it, I am not affiliated with Universal Studios. I do not work there. I do not know anybody that works there. I have no inside intel. This is not me saying that I know something you guys don't know. This is just me speculating for fun. We're having fun here in this video. That's all we're doing. Yeah, so basically, like, I don't know anything. All of this is my opinion. All of this is speculation. So please don't take anything I say to heart. I could be wrong. In a few months, we're going to come back to this once they start announcing the houses, and we'll see how right I was and how wrong I was. We'll see how right all of us were, because a lot of these are from other people that I took. And then the other thing is, I do know that I've heard that they are supposed to be having 11 houses this year at Halloween Horror Nights. They normally have 10, but they're supposed to have 11. I don't know how true that is. I've seen a lot of stuff that leans towards it's very true and it's happening. But again, speculation. This is speculation station. I don't want to come off as though I know something that the regular general public doesn't know. So if you are interested, please join me on this journey as we talk about the IPs that could potentially, or at least the most popular IPs that could potentially come to HHN in 2025. Let's get into it. Okay, so I wrote down a list, and originally I wrote down 10 of the IPs I've heard. I had to add one more, so it's 11, which is an odd number, and I don't like that, but 11 houses. I mean, not all 11 are going to be IPs. There's going to be some originals. So we're going to go down the list. This is in no particular order. This was just basically me writing them down as I saw them pop up. So, number 1, The Last of Us 2. Now, this one is probably the one I see the most of. It's pretty much on every Reddit thread that I read, The Last of Us 2 was like the first one everybody said. And there's a reason for that, because The Last of Us Season 2 is actually airing in a few weeks. It's coming out in a few weeks on HBO, so it only seems to make sense that Universal might try to cash in on this. Now, the reason why I'm iffy about this one, I don't know, like, I do think this one is going to happen. Let's put it this way. I do think that we are going to get The Last of Us 2. I will be really shocked if we don't. However, I do kind of wonder how they're going to do that, because their first Last of Us house was based off of the first video game. And the second game, in my opinion, is not that scary. There's not many moments I can remember, aside from the moment, I won't spoil it, that were actually, and it wasn't even scary, it was just rough. There's not that many moments outside of the moment that are scary in The Last of Us 2 video game. If you've played it, you kind of know. It's more of a drama game than a horror game, you know? It's more of a drama game than a horror game. I don't know how they are going to inject horror into a house for The Last of Us 2, the video game. Now, they've done it before. They've taken, like, TV shows and other IPs that are a little bit kind of, like, wonky. Like, for example, Poltergeist. They took Poltergeist and made it into a pretty decent house. Haunting of Hill House. I didn't expect Haunting of Hill House to be as good as it was, because to me, Haunting of Hill House wasn't scary, it was just sad. And they made it really good. They really made you feel the danger of being in Hill House. So I'm not a Universal creative. There's a very strong chance that if they do The Last of Us, like I think they're going to, they can make that, like, you know, a jump scare fest. So I do think we're gonna say I do think that The Last of Us 2 is definitely going to happen in Halloween Horror Nights 2025. I will be shocked if it doesn't, but I do have a strong feeling that they're going to bring this IP back. The second one that I see a lot of people saying is coming, Stranger Things Season 5. Now, Stranger Things is ending this year. It is the final season, possibly this year. They have not announced a release date yet, but Stranger Things is ending this year, and I think a lot of people are leaning towards, because Stranger Things has shown up in different Halloween Horror Nights like in the past, a lot of people are leaning towards Stranger Things is going to be featured at this event again, so it'll be Last of Us and Stranger Things. I am going to say no. I am going to say no. Here's my reasonings as to why I'm going to say no for Stranger Things Season 5 featuring at Halloween Horror Nights this year. The first reasoning is that they have not announced a release date. As of right now, they usually have a release date announced, and maybe right after I post this video, they'll drop the release date. Like, I'll post this video tomorrow, and then the release date will come out on Friday. So, like, you guys have we don't know, but we don't have a release date for Season 5. For all we know, Season 5 could come out in the fall, which means that they wouldn't want spoilers for the show by having a house. So it's highly likely that we will not get a Stranger Things house based on that. The other reason I don't think we're going to get a Stranger Things house is something that I heard that, again, is a rumor. It could just be people talking crap. People like to talk and speculate and say stuff that isn't true. But I have heard that Netflix has entered into an official contract with Cedar Fair that owns Six Flags, so that only they're the only ones that can get Netflix properties for Fright Fest. Which means that if that is true, Universal can't even touch the IP. So I don't know how true that is. I don't want to immediately say that that's true, but I don't see them doing Stranger Things season 5 this year. Now, if there is no contract with Six Flags, like I said, that's just something I read. I'm probably wrong. They're probably wrong. But if there is a contract with if there isn't a contract with Six Flags, I can see us getting Stranger Things season 5 in 2026, but not in 2025. I just don't see that. There's no way, because they would have to release the season in like July. No, not even. They would have to release it in like May or June, just so that enough people could watch it before the event started. Because especially with it being the final season, that's a big season, and you do not want a haunted house to be the thing that spoils the ending of that. And then plus if they're worried about spoilers, they might scale back how good the house is, and you might miss a lot of things that are really good in the show. So I'm just gonna say it right here, right now. Anybody who's hoping we're gonna get Stranger Things season 5 as a haunted house at Halloween Horror Nights 34, you might want to lower your expectations. We're probably not getting Stranger Things season 5. The next one after this, Beetlejuice. Now, I still have not seen this movie. It is on my list of things to watch. It keeps getting bumped down because I keep having other things to watch before then, but I haven't seen this movie. I do know that it was fairly well received. Almost everybody I know that watched it said they liked it, they enjoyed it. It was just a fun movie. And Beetlejuice is like an icon for, Universal. So I can't see them not doing this one for any reason. Like, they own the IP, the character's iconic, and almost every year they have a house that's sort of like a quieter house, like a house that's meant for scaredy cats and kids. And I think this would be that house. I did like the Beetlejuice house that they had in 2021. I thought it was fun. So this would be a nice house. It'd be kind of like Ghostbusters Frozen Empire was last year, where there's some creepy moments, but for the most part, it is just fun, campy, over the top, you're getting to walk through a movie that you enjoy. So I do see them doing Beetlejuice. That's another one that I would be surprised if they didn't take advantage of that, because I do think it was successful enough. And regardless of whether the movie itself was successful enough, I do think Beetlejuice himself is such a recognizable character and such a beloved character at Universal that I can't see them not capitalizing on that movie and the success of that movie last year. So Beetlejuice, definitely high on my list, definitely gonna happen. And I haven't even seen the movie. That's not even me going based off the movie. That's just me going based off of how Universal does things. Number 4. I have been burned so many times for the last 2 years. For the last 2 years, I've been burned by number 4. And I don't have high hopes. Let's just put it this way. Number 4, Five Nights at Freddy's. Now, me personally, I have been dying. Even back when the game was brand new, I have been dying for Universal to get their hands on this IP to make a house. I think they could knock it out of the park. I think they could hit a home run. I think not only would it be a fun house for fans, but I think it could genuinely have some solid scares. I mean, the whole basis of the game is jump scares. It's right there. Just do it. However, this has been something that's been speculated since 2023. In 2023, everyone assumed that they were going to do a Five Nights at Freddy's house to coincide with the release of the first movie. They did not do that. In 2024, everybody thought that they were going to do a Five Nights at Freddy's house because of how successful the first movie was. They did not do that. And so now everybody's saying, okay, 2025 is the year that they're going to do Five Nights at Freddy's. The second one's coming out in December. They're going to do Five Nights at Freddy's. And I just can't get my hopes up again. I can't get my hopes up and then get the email. Every single time I get an email, just get my hopes dashed because it's a different IP. And the other reason why I don't think this is happening, and again, just like the Stranger Things one, this could be speculation, this could be a rumor, this could be a lie, this could be somebody just making stuff up to seem cool. I've heard that Universal's been at odds with Scott Cawthon, the creator of the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise, because he wants actual animatronics in the house, and Universal obviously is we're not going to spend that much money to build a bunch of animatronics just for a haunted house. And if that is true, if that's true, I have to agree with Universal, because first of all, it would be really hard to do animatronic jump scares constantly throughout the house. Like, if you wanted to have them in the beginning to sort of set the scene, that's a different story. But it'd be really hard to do an animatronic jump scare over and over and over again in the house, because you have to make sure you're timing that right. And their timing is already weird at Universal. Like, a lot of people would go through the house and not get any scares at all whatsoever. So personally, for me, I think it would be better to have actors in suits. I do. Yes, they're not going to move like robots, but who cares? It would be better, you know, and you don't have to have them come out fully. They can just pop their heads out. I mean, that's pretty much what the jump scares are in Five Nights at Freddy's, is them jumping in your face, and all you really see is like the torso. So they don't need to be like running towards you. I mean, unless they want to do Foxy running down the hall. That would be cool. But they don't need to do all of that. If that is what is stopping Universal from being able to do Five Nights at Freddy's, Scott Cawthon, just you're missing out on so much money, because the merch alone, they would sell so much Five Nights at Freddy's merch, so much. So you're missing out on so much money by being stubborn. Like, don't be stubborn. Just let them do it. They'll do it. It'll be great. It'll be awesome. You guys will enjoy. Everyone will enjoy it. You'll be happy. But again, like I said, I don't want to get my hopes up too high, because for the last 2 years, I have said FNAF is coming to Halloween Horror Nights. There's no way FNAF is not coming to Halloween Horror Nights. And both years, 2023 and 2024, I have had my heart broken. So this year, I am going to say no to Five Nights at Freddy's. It's not going to be there. It's not going to happen. And if it does happen, I'll be pleasantly surprised. But if it doesn't happen, at least I lowered my expectations. So yeah, no Five Nights at Freddy's this year. I know some of you have been banking on it, but no Five Nights at Freddy's. I don't think it's happening. Number 5. Now this one is one that I am seriously hoping comes. And this is one that I do think is going to happen. I will be really shocked if it doesn't, because of the success of this movie and this franchise. And that is Terrifier. So a lot of people have been speculating, because there was a speculation map that was released in December of last year. And a lot of, like, on the speculation map, there, like, if you don't know what a speculation map is, basically it's like the Halloween Horror Nights map that you would get at the park, but then it has like what they think is going to be in each spot. And Terrifier was kind of hinted at, because there was a big Santa beard. And if you don't know, in Terrifier 3, like, Art the Clown dresses up as Santa. So a lot of people were like, that's a clear hint. Now, speculation maps are oftentimes very, very spot on. It's very, very rare that the speculation map is completely wrong. The only time it's usually wrong is if there's an IP that falls through. Licensing doesn't go through. So if it is hinting at Terrifier, then we're definitely getting Terrifier. The only reason why I would say we might not be getting Terrifier has to do with something, again, that I saw, another rumor nonsense I saw on Reddit. It has to do with something I saw on Reddit, where somebody said that Universal told Damien Leone that they were not going to make it super gory. And if you've ever seen Terrifier, you know that's its bread and butter. And Damien Leone wasn't happy with that, because if you're going to make a Terrifier haunted house, you've got to make Art the Clown super gory. And personally, this is one, like, rumor I don't believe. I don't believe it. Now, I understand a lot of people try to denigrate Halloween Horror Nights by saying that it's family friendly. It's not a real haunt event because it's, like, family friendly. And it's more PG-13. But the thing is, saying that Universal doesn't want to do gore is kind of crazy, when last year there was quite a bit of gore at that event. We had the Torture Fair, which literally had a blood eagle. If you don't know what a blood eagle is, I wouldn't advise looking up, but, like, look it up if you want to. But they literally had a blood eagle in the middle of the New York section. The Triplets of Terror House was super freaking gory, super gory. Slaughter Cinema had, like, a lot of gore from what I've heard. And even Goblin's Feast, it had entrails, and, you know, so again, I personally don't think that this is true. I personally don't think that I think this person on Reddit probably was trying to stir up crap and, like, make people, like, anxious. I don't think this one's true, but it's possible. It's possible. Anything is possible in this world. I really hope, though, that it's not true, because this is one I'm definitely saying yes to, because not only will Art the Clown be a welcome addition to the Halloween Horror Nights lineup? But, like, okay, so 2 things. One, Damien Leone already said that he would love to do a house for Halloween Horror Nights. This was at Spooky Empire. I wish I had a video of this. This was at Spooky Empire Con in 2023. I was watching the Terrifier panel, and someone actually asked them, would they ever do a haunted house at Halloween Horror Nights? And he said, all Universal has to do is call me. So, he very, very clearly wants to do this. And so I hope that they give him the shot to do it. And it's probably very cheap for them to acquire the rights because, like, it's an indie film at the end of the day. It is an indie film. So it's probably very cheap. And the other reason is, this movie's a freaking behemoth. After the release of Terrifier 2, which by the way is a brilliant movie, I love Terrifier 2. After the release of Terrifier 2, this franchise blew the hell up. So this would, not only would they sell like crazy on merch, I mean, if you get Art the Clown hats, the little hat, the headband with the little hat, you could get the horn, the honking horn, you could have like shirts with him on it. I mean, like, if you did something like that, it would be so cool. And who knows, I'm not saying this has to happen, but if he's available, David Howard Thornton could, you know, pretend to be a scare actor, and maybe you get scared by the actual Art the Clown. I mean, that would be super cool. But I'm not saying they're gonna do that, but that would be super cool if they did something like that. But again, this is like the perfect house for them. They would knock it out of the park, like Universal with their set design and their actors, they would knock it out of the park. It would be great. It would be fun. If done right, it would be great. It'd be fun. And I think it would bring a lot of fans like joy to get to walk through that house. I know it would bring me joy. I love Terrifier, so I know it would bring me joy. So yeah, but Terrifier is one I definitely think is going to happen this year. I will be shocked, just like with Beetlejuice, I will be shocked if they don't do this one. Okay. Number 6. So number 6 was the one that I added randomly because there was a YouTuber I was watching, I can't remember the channel, but he mentioned this, and I never even considered this, but he mentioned this, and he's pretty certain that it's happening. The Weeknd. So if you don't know, in 2022, The Weeknd did a haunted house in both Orlando and Hollywood. And then last year he had a haunted house in just Hollywood. And from what I remember in 2022, that house was really well received. I personally loved that house. It was so bizarre, so off the wall, so weird, and fun because, like, I know The Weeknd's cringe now, but I do like his music. And it was really cool to walk through that album, the After Hours album, and see all those different like scary moments. And I watched the entire series before and I was like obsessed. I was obsessed with it. So yeah, I mean, it worked. But I heard that last year, the Nightmare Trilogy or whatever it was called, I heard last year's wasn't good. And only Hollywood had that one. We didn't have that one. So this YouTuber said that, you know, because The Weeknd released his final album as The Weeknd, I think this month or last month, and then there's a movie coming out in April that kind of coincides with the album, he thinks that we're getting a Weeknd haunted house. So, I'm gonna say no, personally. I'll be really shocked if this one does happen. Not because there's anything wrong with The Weeknd necessarily, but because I just don't see it happening. I mean, the movie that he has coming out, it looks creepy, but I don't know if it's a horror movie. I really don't. Like, it looks creepy, but it could just be like an action movie, you know, or even just like a thriller that doesn't really translate well into a haunted house. So I'm gonna say no to The Weeknd. If it does happen, great. I would probably still have a good time, but I'm gonna say no to The Weeknd. I don't think that he's gonna have another haunted house at Halloween Horror Nights, but I could be wrong. We'll see. Number 7. So, this next one is highly speculated because we were very, very close to having this one as a house last year. I believe that it was pulled like last minute. Like, it was pulled very, very quickly. And that's A Nightmare on Elm Street. Now, I've also seen a lot of people saying that Nightmare on Elm Street has never been represented by itself. That is an absolute lie. Carnival of Carnage That was the first Halloween Horror Nights I ever went to, and that was the only house, one of the only 2 houses I made it through. With my eyes closed, but I made it through. Yeah, but it would be nice to see Freddy come back, and again, I had heard last year that we were supposed to get this one, and then something fell through with the rights holders, and it was pulled very close to the end of the planning stage. So, I don't know. This one I'm definitely on the fence about. I don't know if we're gonna get this one. Especially if there was a dispute with the rights holders. I don't know if we'll get this one. I would like to see this one. I would love to see Freddy come back to Halloween Horror Nights, especially with how well they did the Halloween house in 2022. That was my favorite house that year. I think they can knock it out of the park with the Nightmare on Elm Street with their current creative team. I think they can knock it out of the park. So I would love to see this one, but I'm not holding my breath. I'm going to say no for A Nightmare on Elm Street, but we'll see. Number 8, The Wolfman. So I've seen this one a lot. Now, they released a movie in January. Which was a reimagining of the Wolfman story from the Universal Monsters, franchise. I don't think it was very well received. I didn't see it. I don't know if it was good or not, but I didn't see it. I don't know if it was very well received, and I know that last year when they had that little, photo op with the Wolfman, I know that, he wasn't very well received, so I'm definitely not sure that we're gonna get this one. I've seen this one requested a lot, but I also saw something, again, another speculatory thing, that after the stunt that Universal pulled by showing the Wolfman at Halloween Horror Nights last year, that Lee Winnell, the writer and director of this remake, was pissed, and that he told them to pull it, and that's why it wasn't there anymore. And I don't think that bad blood is going to be quelled anytime soon, so chances are we're not getting the Wolfman. I'm going to say no to the Wolfman. Speaking of Universal Monsters, this one is very highly speculated. So Universal Monsters has always been a staple at Halloween Horror Nights, but this year, people are leaning more towards us getting a house based off of the creature from the Black Lagoon. And a lot of this has to do with the fact that they have a lot of merch for it right now, and I think I saw the same YouTuber that talked about The Weeknd said that last year when they had a lot of merch with the Bride of Frankenstein on it, that they did the Universal Monsters house. I'm gonna say no to this one too. The reason why is because Epic Universe is opening in May, and Epic Universe has an entire land dedicated to Universal Monsters. I know the creature from the Black Lagoon isn't in that. I don't see them taking away from what Epic Universe is doing, and I've already heard multiple times from multiple sources, again, don't know how credible they are, that they've already said they're not doing Universal Monsters this year. So I don't think we're getting Creature. I hate to break people's hearts, but I don't think we're getting a house based off Creature from the Black Lagoon. Also, somebody also mentioned last year was the 75th anniversary of Creature from the Black Lagoon, and I think that they would have capitalized on that because it was an anniversary year. I don't think they would have decided to do it this year. So, yeah, that's a no. It's a no from me, dog, on Creature from the Black Lagoon. Number 10, Megan 2.0 or some kind of Blumhouse feature. This is a guaranteed. Jason Blum has his hands so deep in Universal's pockets that it's almost certain that we will get some Blumhouse movie as a house. Megan is coming out with a sequel. Don't know why. Don't think it needed one. I'm pretty sure we wrapped up the story at the end. We didn't really need more Megan, but people seem to love her. And then the Black Phone is also releasing a sequel, which I know that the Black Phone is based off of a book of a bunch of short stories. I don't know. I haven't really read up about these two movies because I love the Black Phone. The Black Phone is one of my favorite movies of recent years, but I feel like I didn't need a sequel. Unless it's based off of a different story from that collection of short stories, I don't need a sequel. But a lot of people are speculating that it's going to be Megan 2.0 and the Black Phone 2 in this. we'll see, but Blumhouse is going to have their hands in this somehow. We are going to get a Blumhouse something. I don't think we're going to get a Scare Zone this year, but we're definitely going to get a house of some sort. Like, that's just a given. Like, I hate to say it, but we're going to get Blumhouse. We're going to get Blumhouse. And more than likely, if Megan 2.0 is coming out this year, then it's going to be Megan related. They're going to keep capitalizing on that dancing doll. All right. And then the last one, I've seen quite a few people bring this up, and I think this is more wishful thinking than like actual speculation, but a video game related house, but mostly Silent Hill 2. Now, Silent Hill 2 got a remaster last year that was released to like insane amounts of fanfare. And I actually have the game. I've been playing through it for a while. I was playing through it for a while, but Baldur's Gate 3 kind of stole me away, so I've been playing that now. I love Silent Hill. It's one of my favorite video game franchises. I think the story is so unique and tragic, and I love Silent Hill. It would be so cool to see a Silent Hill house, even if it was based off of Silent Hill 2. There's also supposed to be a movie coming out this year, a Silent Hill movie. I don't know anything about that. I know I had heard 2 years ago that they were going to be doing a movie, but I don't know anything beyond that. So it would be cool to see Silent Hill. I don't think that it's gonna happen. Maybe next year we'll get like a Silent Hill movie house. I would love to see them bring Silent Hill 2, but it's kind of hard because Silent Hill 2 especially is very psychological. And a lot of the horror comes from, there's a lot of really creepy creatures, don't get me wrong, but a lot of the horror comes from the implications of all of the things that you're seeing in Silent Hill. And that's kind of lost when you put it in a haunted house. However, if there was one video game adaptation that's getting a movie this year that I think could potentially, and I don't think it's going to happen, I really don't think it's going to happen, but I think that could potentially get a haunted house, it's Until Dawn. Now, I know everybody's pissed off about Until Dawn. I understand, I get it, but you can't deny that the premise that the movie has set up opens the door for a really good haunted house. You've got multiple different types of monsters. It's kind of like Cabin in the Woods. And Cabin in the Woods was a really fun haunted house when they did that years ago. So if they were to do a video game based haunted house, video game movie based haunted house, I feel like it would be Until Dawn. I don't think they would go with Silent Hill 2, as much as I would love for them to go with Silent Hill, because I would love to have experienced, they did do Silent Hill in 2012. I didn't, that was a year before I started going again, so I didn't get to experience that, but I also didn't hear it was that great. I heard it wasn't that great, I should say. I don't know. I didn't experience it, so I don't really have an opinion. But yeah, Silent Hill 2 is really high up on the list. Some people are saying that we might get a Resident Evil house again because the Resident Evil remakes. I will say this. One house I would love to see if they were to do a Resident Evil house, one thing I would love to see them do, like one game, I would love to see Resident Evil 7. Can you imagine how scary it would be trying to walking around the house and you just hear, "Welcome to the family, son," and Jack Baker comes storming down the hall? I would run. I mean, you're conga lined through the house, but I would still run. I would still be pushing the people in front of me. Jack Baker scares the crap out of me, so I personally think that would be a really cool house to do. I'm not saying they're gonna do it, but that would be a really cool haunted house. I think that would be, out of all of the Resident Evil games, that would be the one to adapt into a haunted house, because it has a lot of really good set pieces, and it takes place in a house and on that land. And I know, like, the first game takes place in the manor. I understand that, but I think that 7 would translate better because it's more personal than the first one. The first game is like military, and you're like, not saying that it wouldn't be a good haunted house, but the Resident Evil 7 is more personal. You have Mia. I mean, come on, that house would be so scary. But yeah, so I don't know if we're gonna get a video game house. I'm gonna say no to Silent Hill 2. Sorry guys, I hate to break your hearts, but I don't think we're getting a Silent Hill 2 haunted house or any video game haunted house this year. So that's all the ones I've been seeing most of. I did see today on Reddit that somebody posted a speculation map, but it wasn't from Horror Nights Nightmares, which is like the official speculation map people, and it also was for Hollywood. So, and they had Fallout on there. Fallout, from what I know, I mean, I've played the Fallout games very briefly, but Fallout, from what I know, is not a horror movie. I mean, the concept is scary, but how could you make that a haunted house? You know what? Actually, I'm gonna make that number 12. I have seen people saying that we're getting a Fallout haunted house. I don't know what y'all are on. I haven't watched the show, but from what I've seen of the show, like clips I've seen of the show isn't even scary. So why would they do a Fallout haunted house? It's not a horror show. It's action. Why would they do Fallout? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Come on, guys. That would be like saying they're gonna do a haunted house based off The Boys. The Boys is, like, I've never watched The Boys, but I know it's a beloved show, but why would you make a haunted house based off something that is an action show? I mean, I guess you could twist it and make it scary. I just don't see them doing that. I don't know where people are getting that they're going to do Fallout. I just don't. So yeah, that's number 12. And no, I don't believe that Fallout is happening. I'm sorry. So that is it for the HHN speculation. This is a much shorter video. What do you guys think? What are you guys thinking we're gonna see at Halloween Horror Nights? I've seen so many different opinions. I've seen like Nosferatu, Lisa Frankenstein. I've seen so many different opinions on what we might see at HHN 34, 2025, whatever you want to call it. All I know is we are going to see a lot of houses because we're supposedly getting 11 this year in Orlando. And we are going to probably see a lot of really cool IPs. A lot of great stuff has come out in recent years, and a lot of great stuff that's ripe for the picking for Universal. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to HHN season, as per the usual. My cat just ran by really fast. I don't know what she's doing. I'm looking forward to HHN season, as per usual. It's my favorite time of year. Hopefully, Universal doesn't plant corn this year, because we had 2 hurricanes last year because they planted corn in a quiet place. So please don't plant any corn this year. So, you know, I'm just hoping, knock on wood, we are okay. Everybody's okay, right? But yeah, I do think regardless, we're going to have a very busy HHN season. Just to kind of throw this out there, Epic Universe opens in like 2 months. And first of all, I want to say this about Epic Universe. From what I've seen, I haven't really been watching any videos, but from what I've heard, it is amazing. And everybody says that the Frankenstein ride is insane. And I cannot wait to go on that ride. I am so excited for that. I don't know when I'm going to get to go to Epic Universe. I'm hoping it'll be sometime this year, but it may not be till next year, because I am not touching opening week. I'm not touching anything for a while with this. Like, you know, it's gonna be packed regardless, but I'm gonna give myself time. You know, I don't have to run. But I'm excited. I can't wait to see it. Like, I saw the construction when I went to MegaCon, and I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be so cool. But yeah, no. But Epic Universe is gonna bring a whole new slew of people to Halloween Horror Nights. It's probably gonna be the busiest Halloween Horror Nights season we've ever seen. Some people are speculating that the event might hit capacity every single night this year because of Epic Universe. So just be prepared. Buy your tickets as soon as you possibly can. Whatever ticket you're going to be buying, buy your tickets as soon as you possibly can, because we really are going to have a very, very packed park this year. I feel it in my bones. But it doesn't matter, because I am going to have a good time regardless, and I just can't wait till we start getting announcements, because that's when the real excitement sets in and I start going crazy. I don't know if I'm going to cover every single individual announcement on this channel. I might wait like I did last time and cover everything overarching once it's been announced. But we'll see. In any case, yeah, thank you guys so much for joining me today. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like or a comment, but give me a subscribe, share it with your friends, anything that helps me know that you enjoyed this video. I will be back with a movie review. We've got a movie review, we've got a TV show review, and then we've got another video game. I am busy girl right now. But I will be back hopefully next week with a movie review, and then a TV show review, and then a video game review. So be prepared for that. But in any case, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Stay safe, stay happy. You can follow me on social media. I'm at Creepy Critiques everywhere but X. I do not really use social media, but if you want to follow me, go right on ahead. I I have a website. The link will be down in the description. I need to update it and like write on it more because I was supposed to be writing on it every day and I just haven't been. I'm sorry. I've been sick. What you know, whatever. But yeah, all the links will be in the description, and keep an eye on this channel for any HHN updates if you really, really want to know what's going to be going on in the next few months. And I will see you all next time with another creepy critique.